Welcome everyone to Written in Sea Stone, and we finally got the chapter with the reveal we have been waiting for 2 weeks. Now the wait felt really long, not gonna lie, but after all, I think it was worth it because I honestly loved the chapter, both the part of the allies and the enemy front, the scenery, the pacing of the chapter, and also the interactions between different characters. So anyways, we got chapter 978, that's titled Introducing the Flying Six. Now a lot of interesting things on these ones, so I guess we should start talking about it, shall we? So first things first, I know it's boring, I know it's slow, but the cover page, to be honest with you, I really thought we were about to get Badge finally making a move, but this cover story was pretty much the same cover story we got last time. Lola and her allies will join Badge, I guess, and we'll see where's Oda going with all of this. Let's start with the chapter. So the allies divide into the groups they stated before for the plan. The Polar Town goes underwater, and the rest of the samurai go to Onegishima's entrance. To be honest, I was not expecting the entrance to be that cool. The scenery was amazing, it's just a beautiful place, and when you see the ships on the panel you realize how damn big it is. Talking about big, did you guys saw the sword that's in the entrance? Because the first time I saw it I didn't think it was that big, but then I realized it's almost as big as Onigashima itself. So the first thing I thought was it being some sort of ancient Oni sword or something like that, but yeah, just, I can't wait to see Zoro wielding that thing. And boys, mark this day on the calendar because Usopp, God Usopp did something useful on purpose and sent those pirates to sleep to avoid being caught. Now, knowing how ridiculously strong Usopp is, I bet those enemies were Yonko level, but they were just unlucky to find Usopp there, so yeah, rest in peace. Anyways, I honestly like to see Usopp doing useful stuff, and I hope we get more of that against some real enemies. So, they finally arrive at the port, and that moment with Kinemon when they start sinking the ships was a pretty badass Samurai Pride scene that I was not expecting at that moment. It honestly gave me the chills because what that really means in the story is that there's not going to be a lot of survivors post-war. And then we got the funny counterpart to that moment with Frankie and the Straw Hat saying that there's no way they sink the Sunny. So I honestly wonder how and where are they gonna hide those ships. Then we get yet another moment with Kinemon, who has been getting some more screen time lately, and this is very interesting because it has to do with his Devil Fruit. He used his Devil Fruit to create some sort of transformation portal, so when the allies pass through it, they would get dressed like the Beast Pirates. Now we could tell his Devil Fruit would be used in this kind of situations as it is more of an utility thing, but Kinemon's fruit was supposed to work when you put something on your head. In this chapter though, they all got the costumes instantly with that portal without having to use any objects. So I was wondering if it had to do with his fruit awakening, because this time it worked on a bigger scale and it was way more efficient than last time. Everyone's all dressed up with the Beast Pirates costume. I think it really suits Kid and Zoro especially, and it actually even removed Luffy's chest guard. We can also see some of the Wano Samurai we were shown at the beginning of the arc while being recruited, also wearing them, and then we move to the other front, the Beast Pirates. We got Queen cheering everybody up with DJ Scratchman Apu in the building, and I gotta say, Queen is such a character, man, I love him. And the party panels are also looking real good too. And by the way, Oda draw a skinny version of Queen somewhere, and yeah, I'll think I'm staying with the current version. Then we get to see the waiters, the pleasures, and the gifters. And I was thinking if every year during the Fire Festival is when Kaido's crew handles the smiles to these people like a one time a year kind of thing. Also, another thing I realized is that there's a gorilla gifter, and I honestly expected some big character to have the gorilla zone, since gorillas are one of the strongest animals in the whole kingdom, but I guess that option can still exist since it is a smile and not a real Devil Fruit, so we'll see. As we're reading the chapter, we get to see the Beast Pirates ranks in the waiters, the pleasures, the gifters, the numbers, also the Flying Six, and the calamities. And while I was reading it, I saw Apu, and I realized we still don't know Scratchman Apu's rank in the Beast Pirates. It's kinda weird, right? Then we know Hawkins is a headliner and Drake is a Flying Six member, so I guess Apu should be some sort of in between the Flying Six and the strongest headliners. And I honestly just wonder why Oda hasn't still revealed his rank yet. So maybe there's some sort of twist there, and I think it deserves to be mentioned. At this point of the chapter, guys, is where things get really interesting with the Flying Six reveal, because we finally got it. Now, one of the first noticeable things is that they don't really like Queen, and they even talk shit about him. As we all expected, the designs are looking cool, props to Oda on that, plus they look like they have a very interesting personality. First, let me talk a little bit about the Flying Six rank, because in my opinion they have been downplayed, and I think they are equivalent to Oven, Perospero, and Daifuku. Because on Whole Cake Island, you had the sweet commanders who are really strong pirates, and then you also had really strong dudes who weren't necessarily sweet commander level, but they would give interesting fights to the Straw Hats. Because I don't know about you, but I was personally impressed by Owen's strength, and also Prospero caused a lot of difficulties to them while escaping. Apparently there are a lot of headliners on the Beast Pirates crew, and there is a high difference power level between them. Because on one hand you got Hold'em and Speed and Sheepshead and stuff, but then we also got Hawkins and probably Apu, and then you have the Flying Six, who are the top 6 headliners in the Beast Pirates if we're talking about strength. So I believe these guys will indeed be a threat. Let's start with page 1 and Uruti. We figured out page 1 would probably be the weakest, and it was kind of confirmed by the other members in this chapter, but Uruti, even though she does not look threatening at all, she seems to be pretty straightforward, and I liked it. Now the reason why I chose to talk about these two first is because the way they talk gives me a sibling vibe. They both look young, they have the horns, the cape and the mask, which I don't know if it's a coronavirus reference from Oda, but I thought I would mention it as a possibility. Then we got Husu. Now a lot of people think these guys actually Gin. I personally don't think so, as Gin's fighting style revolved around those metal ball-like weapons. This dude is clearly a swordsman. He looks very intimidating, and he might be one of Zora's fights previous to King, but that's pretty much all I have to say about these guys. After that we got Black Maria, who's actually huge. Now I gotta say her design is similar to a geisha. I like the swords on her hair, and I searched her name to see where is that coming from. For what I've seen, it was a police vehicle used to transport prisoners. But then I also found out that it was a popular British card game. So I guess that explains the name. That's all I gotta say for her now. We also have Sasaki, who's also a big dude. Everyone has horns. He is not an exception. But I believe he's a fishman, honestly, because of the way his face is, his teeth, his body and stuff. So yeah, very interesting. I believe he's also a swordsman, but I'm not sure right now, so we'll see. And finally we get to the only member who does not have the horns. I'm obviously talking about X-Drake, or rather Death Drake, who by far has the most interesting conversation in which they wonder who would replace Quinn if he were to die. Black Maria calls Drake, which leads us to think that Drake is actually closer to Quinn in strength, which I think is crazy, but it also means that Drake is probably the strongest Flying Six member. And by the way, Drake says that he is not interested in replacing Queen, which is easy to understand for us because we know he's a member of SWORD in the Marines, so I guess it makes sense. Anyways guys, I think it was a very good chapter after all in a lot of different ways. Sadly we're on break again because of Japan's Golden Week or something, but we will come back stronger than ever. Also, if you reach this point of the video, I would like to see you clicking that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying, because you'll get notifications on more content like this. Subscriptions and comments are much appreciated as well. And that'll be it for today guys. See ya!